Good afternoon. This is BreiEndia and my 90-day Self-Journeys retreat in 808 Tavern. Today is July 13th, 2020, and this is day 20 of my retreat. And today is the day of self-credibility. And self-credibility is just knowing that I'm credible, someone that can be believed in or trusted. And I view that as a thing that I can trust myself. I know I can trust myself in any way, shape, or form. I will be there for myself. And if that is questioned outside of my body, that's not my problem, because actions do speak louder than words. If I can't do something, I'll let someone know. I'm not the type of person to just not show up or, anything of that nature. And if I have to cancel something on account of something that is going on in my life, it's either going to be understood or misunderstood. Otherwise, it's necessary to make sure that I always give myself credit for the things that I know I put my time towards. And it's a balance when you're trying to invest in yourself and you're trying to believe in yourself and keep yourself going with the things you have going on. Now, I understand that everybody is not choosing to be an entrepreneur in the world. Everybody is not choosing to invest their time into things that take time to grow. So because of that, I also understand that they may not understand what you're doing. They may not understand that if you're an entrepreneur or if you're somebody who is trying to juggle a regular work lifestyle or a home lifestyle, like if you have family, kids, or anything, and you have a business, like those things are not easy. I'm not talking to people who have these things going already. They understand, but people who don't or have not had an interest in it, or people who have an interest in it but just have not taken the time to take the first steps, understand that it's not easy. And you have to be able to give yourself that self-credibility, that pat on the back to know, like, I believe in you. Like, you gonna make that happen. And you know what? I trust you to pull forward with this and to try your best to accomplish it. But where you start to lose your self-credibility is when you are not giving yourself that credit, when you are not trusting in yourself, when you stop believing in yourself. It's when you lose your self-credibility. Regardless of who else says you're credible, you are the first person who defines your credibility based on your actions. So that is how I view self-credibility. And ultimately, I always, speak in first, third, and second person when I'm talking, because this is how I direct to myself. I look at myself in every lane, when it comes to forms of customer service. I don't just view stuff from the planner's position or from the leaders in the manager's position or from the owner's position or from the customer's position. I look at all positions because there is a reason to be able to see and view things from every lane in order to be able to establish an actual business. It has to be more than just looking at it for money. Like if I was just sitting here, like you will go crazy always looking at the money factor of something if you're not looking at the product first and the quality of the product. You can't really look at quantity until you see the quality. And that is just in the lane of a product. A product can be an actual item down to a song, a piece of art, anything can be a product. You can be a product. But your product has to be well thought through. The quality of it is what matters. And it's not necessarily that people don't matter outside of you, but you got to make sure that's tight first. You got to make sure you tight first. And that is a valuable asset to the journey and to the process. And unfortunately, not for everyone, but for a lot of people, when they're developing these things and the framework to their plans, they might lose a bit of people because there might be changing the direction or the directives of where they're going and what they're doing. They may lose an audience. They may lose, or you or me We may lose things, but understand that every loss is preparing you for probably a 10 to 1,000 times stronger rebuttal, stronger gain. And you have to be able to also, that tracks back to believing. Believing in yourself is having that faith, is having God and knowing that He's within you. Therefore, there's no way that you're going to fail as long as you continue the track, stay the course. Once you start, it's an ongoing thing. So you have to believe in yourself. And even when you have to be willing to understand that failure comes with having and building credibility. It's no perfection in doing something that you're trying to perfect. The trial and error makes it perfect. Feedback from people makes it perfect. You have to be willing to receive feedback and not be emotional about the feedback. You have to be able to take the feedback as constructive, regardless of if they tried to say it to hurt your feelings, or they tried to, put it at you in a certain way to make you look bad, or whatever it may be. You can tell the difference between when people are trying to come at you with feedback that they just want to say to discourage you or to make you feel like you can't do it or you should stop. But if they got enough time in their day to come out of their way and out of their own body to say something that is to bash you, as if they're perfect, let them speak their piece. Let them say how they feel. But ultimately, your credibility. That is why self-credibility is a foundation. That is why I encourage self-journeys, because once you have built certain established mind frames within yourself, it prepares you for stepping out and pushing your products, pushing your brand, pushing your music, pushing your craft, your art, your ideas, your therapy, whatever it is that you are trying to bring to the table, and you want to do it for good reasons. There's a lot of people that want to do entrepreneurial things because they just have a good heart and they want to help people. They want to provide services. They like seeing your hair done or your lashes or your nails or nice skin. This is something that it comes from, just having those innovative mind frames. But being that way, you have to have your self-credibility and know your self-worth and have self-awareness so that you're able to understand that you will get negative feedback too. It's not going to always be a positive run. But that also enlightens you to the idea of recognizing when you have people around you for the right reasons, or if they're just around you to see if you're going to get where you're trying to say you're going, or if they're just trying to hang around you and, tug on your shirt until and say, I'm here, until you get there so that they can ride the wave. And it's like, I'm not into those types of things. If I'm going to ever be on a stage, for instance, I'd rather be on that stage by myself than have an entourage of people behind me that don't really have any part in the growth process, that didn't have a part in the growth process. They didn't really see me as credible when I was working towards it. They didn't really truly support me. You could tell the difference. And, I'm thankful, for those who have supported me in every way, because there's a difference between, like, say, for instance, real supporters in the real world. People I have known in the real world who seen my struggles and seen where I was and have supported me and encouraged me with words, because we're on the same page, half of us. I try to associate myself with people who are also growing. So I understand. You got a life, I got a life. We're trying to grow. But when you start to only show your support to others and ignore me as if my stuff is not credible or I'm not credible, I recognize that. Just like anybody would. And when somebody is in that predicament, recognize that sometimes you got to kind of cut yourself short from certain people when you start to recognize that they don't view you as a valuable asset, or they don't view you as a credible person. So their energy might not be directed towards you in a positive way. And so you can't stop people from having your name in circles, but you can stop yourself from pouring your energy into people who really don't rock with you like that. Another thing is people that I respect anybody who follows my page while I'm transitioning into the business page instead of personal page. I'm going to make a private page again one day, but that's not my focus right now. Right now, I'm using social media as a platform. I view it as a way to network, to get to know people, to build, a base of followers who are doing things in the arts and business. And I want to see people on my timeline who are doing things that are innovative, who are saying things, whether they're rude or they come off a certain way. I want to see that kind of stuff that makes sense about actually staying on your grind. And feedback, complaints about engineers or musicians or, business places in the world, that need better leaders or need a lot more effort put into it. There's a lot of jobs and a lot of things out here that need more effort. It's not always about the price. It's about the quality first. Okay? And that's what I view first is how much time, you want me to pay this, that, and the third? All right, that's cute. I get it. But how much time and effort are you really going to put into this project for me? And it's not just about the numbers. It's always about the quality. It's about how they treated you when you went through the experience. Because every person that goes through an experience with you, they're going to remember that experience with you. Okay? It could be you and several other people. But they're going to separate the experience based on each individual's attitude, their effort, and what they did to drive that experience for you or with you, in whatever way it is. And that's a big thing about credibility is before you start to think that people should give you credibility and you should get credit for things, you need to have self-credibility and know what it feels like to not have somebody that you can trust or believe in when it comes to them striving for something. And understand that it takes time for different people. Everybody is not moving at the same pace. So you have to self-judge and all of that, because before you go to start talking about other people's businesses and what they're doing in their craft and how they're doing it, you got to know how you're moving in your own lane. Everybody should have their own lane. And that's just how I view it when it comes to credibility. I'm constantly trying to make sure that I enforce that system within myself, that belief system within myself that, okay, that was a slip up. Oh, yeah, that was the wrong association. Oh, that was the wrong event to go to. But you learn from the experiences. If you don't ever step out and do nothing, how you expect to learn something? Just because watching TV or looking on the internet? No. Those are those people's experiences. Because it may be a different experience for you, even if you did the same exact event. You can go to showcases all the time and enjoy yourself. And there may be people at those showcases who hate every single showcase they ever been to. But at least both of y'all put in the time versus the friend that stayed home because they don't like going to showcases because they feel as though they're too good for it. Like, these are the things that I view when it comes to the effort and the credibility of someone who wants to be able to enforce talent or their entrepreneur credibility. I'm going to see you open up something, but, how do I know this is credible? How do I know that you actually put forth the effort in this and didn't just hire people who had the idea, and then you're mad because I'm not giving you the praise for it? I like to give the credit where it's due. And that's just how I view it. But that's not to say that the person that started the business doesn't deserve it as well. It's just the fact that you can tell the difference between somebody who actually values their craft and actually values what they're doing and actually understands quality over quantity. And that is the thing for me. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing right now. If anybody has me blocked and I can't see their stories or some weird, shady, finicky stuff going on, I'm not following you. Like, I'm not looking at people I'm sick of looking at my timeline and it's just stuff that's just looking old. So, I'm just starting where I am, and I'm appreciative of the support that I do have of people that I don't know on social media before people in the real world. It's crazy, but it is what it is. And, I'm grateful that it's a constant growing thing. But I'm grateful that there are people who are getting up every day and going to work. They're making things work for themselves, and they're grinding to do things on the side, and they're showing great effort. And that's all I have to say about self-credibility. This is BreiEndia and my 90-day Self-Journeys retreat in 808 Tavern. Y'all be blessed and stay believing in yourself and trusting that you can make anything happen. Love y'all. Love y'all.